Unlocked is here. This is the dating show that sets you up on 3 Zoom dates, and at the end, hopefully you will find one match. Let them jolo begin.
Hello, beautiful people of South Africa. Hello, hello. Welcome to the last day of this webinar, unfortunately, but the first webinar of its kind on the business of reality TV. First, I am Trule, the love activist, and I will be your host today. I'm coming from a company called Rainbow Conscious Creatives that I co own with a beautiful soul named Kutlana Makhalimele. We are a brand communication agency that helps brands connect to their audiences through authentic storytelling. Um, a big thank you to our incredible sponsors, the Gauteng Film Commission, for making this webinar a huge success and a reality. And also a big thank you to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture for supporting what inspired this whole webinar, actually, an initiative or a show called Love Unlocked that we created. So thank you to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture for supporting us to develop that concept. So today we have two amazing speakers lined up for you. We have Portia Hlubi, who is a renowned director extraordinaire. I'll tell you more about her. And Zizi Mahlabe, who's a social media specialist. Today we'll have a question and answer sessions for each speaker. The question and answers will be open during the speakers' presentations. You don't need to put your hand up. You can literally just type it in the question box, and we'll make sure that your question is seen. For those who are on YouTube and Facebook, we'll also be pulling questions from your side as well. We see you, we love you. Thank you for joining us as well. At the end, we'll also have polls that will be running throughout the speakers presentation. So please participate so that we can release the results at the end of our Q&A. And then we have a big survey at the end of this whole experience so that when we do this again, we can deliver the best webinar experience for you. So a little bit about who we are. Like I said, I'm Trule from Rainbow Conscious Creatives. From the very beginning, we've loved creating learning or skills share experiences or platforms. When we started hosting the 48-hour film project 11 years ago, that we wanted to create a space for creatives to experiment, play, and fail forward. Hence, they had to make a film in just 2 days. And that passion for developing platforms has never left us. As a result, even when Corona happened and we were all stuck at home with the devastation of our industry, we saw that people really want to connect, especially single people. And so we thought, hey, why don't we create a platform called Love Unlocked, a dating show where people can safely connect. So Love Unlocked is a gamified Facebook watch dating show where Nomuzi Mabena, our connector, connects you on 3 Zoom dates. We also have branded gamified features where you, our audience, have a share of voice in how the show goes and possibly influence who our love seeker chooses to go on a face-to-face date with. And it also allows our brand partners to curate the gamified features like the trivia games and polls. So enough about me and us. Let's get straight into it. Introducing our first speaker, Portia Hlubi. She started her career as a commissioning editor and took advantage of that knowledge and took it into directing. She's directed some of your favorite shows, Utando Nestembu, Real Housewives of Joburg as well is something that she has done. And she will be discussing, reality TV genres because there are so many, how to build the reality world, her directing style, and a lot more. So, Portia, are you ready?
Hi everybody. Yeah, I think I'm ready as I can be.
Go for it. Take it away. You can start sharing your presentation.
All right. Okay, let's attempt.
I love your earrings, by the way. You look fabulous.
Look, the position that I'm sitting in, one mistake, one will fall off.
Touches a move.
Yeah, no. Um, cool. Okay. Can you guys see? Okay. I just want to. Okay. So, okay, greetings everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and speak on this platform. I don't know why you trust me, but I'm here now. And everybody else who's watching. Like Kukule said, I am a director. Just give you a couple of shows that I've done. I've done that, you know, when we go into the press or you guys have got context. So, I mean, I did work at Channel, and then when I left, the very first show I did was the very first season of The Ranakas. I worked there as a production manager and then as a content director. From there, I worked on Big Brother as a content director. I then worked on a show, a music show called Vodacom Next Level. And then after that, I did Return on Istanbul, which I recently directed the last season, which is season 4. I also did the Real Housewives of Johannesburg, which was a very exciting project for me. Season 2, which is the one that I directed. I also recently worked on Atlas Sizwe for MTV. I did the first half of the season for them. I've also done a cooking show called Celebrity Mystery Box, which, you know, played during lockdown. Currently, I'm working on a Pan-African music format, and I'm also going to be whisked away to work on a new international format. So just to give you a scope that I've kind of done a number of different shows. So when we go into the presentation, because we're talking reality shows, I think everybody should be open-minded. The learnings and experiences and teachings are based on what I've learned. And I'm going to share knowledge that I think will help you in your reality show, but also adapt what I'm saying to suit what you're shooting, right? Because there's so many of them. So yeah, so let's attempt on how to make good reality shows. So what I'm going to be taking you guys briefly is the real world of reality, real, and the narrative structure. And not everybody have a reality show. Yes, including you and your group of friends, no matter how exciting you guys think you are. The second thing I'm going to take you guys through is the myths and the misconceptions of non-scripted reality. No, guys, we don't just show up and shoot. There is work, there is planning. I'm also going to talk about the authenticity in how you represent your characters to the world. And lastly, how to channel your emotions, your abilities to a viable skill set to enhance your story. So how do you get close enough but far enough to still tell the story, and how it's okay to have feelings? So the world of reality. I think it was important for me to start with this slide because when I say the world of reality, it's almost, think of it like a map. It's like when you identify what world your reality show exists in, it's like you create a
apologies, everyone. We seem to have but here she is back again.
Did you lose me?
We lost you for a bit, but no weapon formed against us.
Okay, cool. You will let me know if you lose me again, and then I'll just switch to using my data instead of the Wi-Fi name.
Okay, no problem. Do continue and share.
Cool. Okay, must I share it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. It says I'm sharing, so let's see.
Technology. There we go.
Okay, we're back on. Okay. So, as I was saying, reality TV shows are about showing real, exciting worlds and lives that already exist. Just give me a second. I'm trying to remove you guys on the right hand side because then I can't see my slide. Okay. Yes. Okay, back on reality shows. Anything can happen. It's real. It works in real time. This is a perfect example. So as I was saying, reality shows are about showing exciting. It's also about the weird, different, over the top, but it's always usually something different from our ordinary lives, right? So we like a world that's filled with stereotypes, a variety of different people. We like things that are extreme, things we can laugh at, judge, criticize, or sometimes aspire to be. Because remember, back in the days, it used to be, oh, when you read a book, a different kind of world. I think reality shows are starting to be a new form of escapism, which is why it may seem exciting to think that you and your group of friends can have a reality show, or you have a crazy family and you're like, yo, we have the cameras, we can have a show of us. But what you don't realize is that reality shows are deeper than what you think. But the world helps you shape the parameters in which your reality show exists. And everything in which you do needs to be shaped by the world. So if you said we are the rich, crazy family, that's your world. If you are doing a cultural show, everything that you do must go back to culture. So it's often easier, I say to people, when you have a world that already exists. It's very difficult to find people and then say, hey, Mvesu, let's do a reality show. Then you bring the cameras. Then what you're going to do is spend a lot of time trying to create a world for them. That is why it's better to shoot a show where people have a world that exists. For example, the new reality show on Netflix called Bling Empire, those, for example, are super rich Asians. They are already rich before the cameras came through. What the cameras do is arrive and then, expand and show you guys that world. So just briefly, the different types of worlds. I mean, some we are very familiar with in South Africa, but some of these you already watch and you already know. What I'm just helping you do is give you the jargon for what they are called, right? So the first one is celebrity, which I think is very popular in SA. I mean, those are your living the dream with Somizi. Those are your Bing Bonang. Those are your Boities, your Kanyimbaos. So it's basically a reality show following a celebrity. Né? Then you've got fly on the wall. Now, as it says, fly. In isiZulu, we say impugani. It is invasive. You know how when you're eating and a fly is there, you do this, doesn't go away. Same thing. When you're in your car, there's a fly while you're driving, doesn't go away. Same thing. It means the cameras are always there. They're literally planted on the walls or in and around your space, and there's no breaks, there's no pauses, there's no running away. So a good example would be think of Big Brother, where you are there 24/7, there's cameras everywhere. There is a show on Chelsea follows the lives of families who have siblings or children who are addicted to something. So, for example, if someone's anorexic, that camera is there when they're eating, when they're purging, even when you're in the bathroom vomiting, going, that camera is there catching all of it. And most of the time, these shows have your camcorder things where you can record. All is really hectic, but we really like it because it shows you all the raw stuff, the good and the bad, and there's no pausing, there's no control, there's no turning back. So when you commit to a fly in the wall, you must be really ready to show everything. Then, of course, you have your dating shows. So this one is really, really, really vast. I mean, dating could mean your big formats like your Love Islands, your Love is Blind, and it could also mean your Date My Families, your Young Tandana. But as long as it's an element of love and an element of relationships, it will fall under the world of dating. And then, of course, competition is pretty simple. As soon as there's an incentive, as soon as there's a winner and a loser, that's competition. That's your Survivor. That's your Idols. Those type of shows. Your SA's Got Talent type of shows. And then you have your home improvements and your makeovers. I mean, like it says, it's like making over your house. I know there's a show that played on Entertainment where a friend comes and says, my friend can't dress, and they take you through a whole beauty makeover. I know there's a new show now with T Timba where he improves and makes over people's homes. So that sort of thing. And I think that's also got its own markets because if you look at the DSTV Bouquet, there are channels dedicated to just home improvements, decor, and makeovers, either to do their own homes or for whatever reason. Then there's also one called Professions, which is usually like, a day in the life of a CEO Or sometimes you can have a reality show that groups a particular family or friends who are in a certain profession. So that'd be like a day in the life of CEO, or you have a group of lawyers who want to start a reality show. I haven't seen much of those, but I think they do exist. I might not know of them, but again, a world just means you're streamlining and saying, this is where my playing ground is, and this is the world in which I'm sticking to. Then you've got subcultures, which is like, I could say this term who might fall under subculture because we're focusing on polygamy and the dynamics thereof. Subculture is basically focusing on a specific type of culture or tradition. There is a show on TLC, I think, called Breaking Amish, which follows a group of people with a very particular belief. I don't know what it's called, but they dress in a certain way. They go to church 10 times a day. They pray a certain way. They don't go to clubs. They don't eat certain food. So basically, it shows like that. And it's also shows that are, I don't want to say cult-ish, but when we watch a group of people that believe in something very specific to the norm, these ones are usually a very, very big success because they take you out of your normal life completely. I know in South Africa, there's a place called Orania, if I'm getting it wrong, or something where there is a group of white people who stay there alone. They have their own rent, they buy their own certain shops. And as much as it could be controversial and people could be like, no, it's racist and all those things, but in a reality show context, that world could be very exciting to see, how do these guys live in their own worlds, in their own subcultures, doing their own things that don't necessarily interfere with the rest of the world, and they actually don't care. Because subcultures are entertaining if people really believe in what they believe in and they don't question it. That's where we get our entertainment from. And I've just added the Kardashian. I think Kardashian for me is a new type of world because there are so many reality shows that have been a spin-off based on the Kardashians. I think it's the most successful reality show of all times. You have Chloe takes on Miami, Kim takes on New York. Then you had the son, the big guy with China had a reality show. And I watched certain reality shows and I realized that they are trying to be Kardashians. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the Kardashians have inspired people to do their own shows where it's we are inspired to go, if they can have this mogul and business people, then you just, have a day in the lives of the Kardashians. So I would say that's a little spin-off on its own. So, those are the kind of worlds, but I'm sure there are many others that exist, but that's just the framework. Then moving on to the narrative. Now that you've given, hi.
Do you mind switching off your, did we lose you again? I think we've lost Portia again. We'll just wait for her to come back and I'll ask her. Portia, please switch off your camera. Yeah. I think it will help the internet situation.
Okay, cool, no problem. Let me stop video.
And you were saying the professions one. There's the one living medicine or Dr. Pop, Pimple Popper. That's a good example.
Thank you. Cool. Should I share again?
Yes, please.
All right. Cool. So yes, that's a very good Abo medicine, Abo, those are professions. So now that you've given us the world, you've shown us the doctors, you've shown us the rich people, you've shown us the husbands, the wives. What is your story? What is the second layer to the world, which is your story? What is the thing that will keep the viewers? So the world will lure them in, but the story will make them stay. So a typical example, when you go and visit your rich aunts, when you explore the house, you're like, you marble kitchen, state-of-the-art laundry machine, in-suite bathroom. So you're in awe of this house, you're in awe of this world, right? Then you sit on the couch If no one offers you coffee, no one speaks to you, everyone's in their rooms, what are you gonna do? You're going to bounce because it's not welcoming. No one is sharing anything. So you're going to feel cold, you're gonna feel unwelcome, and it's gonna be like, I auntie, I am going gay, you know? But if it was the opposite and you sit on the couch and someone offers you coffee and biscuits, and then they say to you, yo, last week at the funeral, did you see my Lume came with a side chick? Yes, and then he left early. And then auntie came with her new Ben 10. You see what that's doing? You're now going to stay because there's a story. You feel welcome. Kunezindaba. So as reality creatives and producers and directors, we have to be honest. We like izindaba zabantu. And that is what makes people stay. So now that you've shown us the bling, the money, the fashion, the wives, the husband, and everything else in between, what is your narrative? What is the layer beneath the world that you want to unravel? What are you really trying to communicate through your characters? So, my favorite flawed characters in a perfect world. Viewers love problems. They might not admit it, but they love problems. They like imperfect people who seem to live in this perfect world. It makes people feel better. That's why I said in the beginning, your world must either make us be inspired that I want to be Kim Kardashian. It must make me judge them silly goose. It must make me feel weird if I'm watching Breaking Amish, but it has to evoke some kind of feeling because it helps people to find something to hold on to. It is very frustrating to watch someone in a perfect world living a perfect life with no ups and downs. Because you get frustrated. Oh, see, this person every day, they are perfect, they look good, everything in their life. So viewers start to feel like, are you really human? And one thing I've noticed when I say viewers like problems, I'll give you an example. So on the time in this table, people will post, they will tweet, and they will say, "Oh, nice show." Once things start unraveling there in the polygamy, now the tweets are very specific. Yeah, Umayeni nje should just reconsider if she wants to stay in this marriage. Yo, Mangwabe is enough, and now she wants to leave. Because why? Because there are problems. People feel more invested. Then they start having their favorites. They start arguing on who's right and who's wrong. That's what I mean when people love problems. They want to see your character's journey. What are her challenges? For example, Uma Kumal has trouble conceiving. That's a challenge. What are the twists and turns? What's her journey to overcome? She speaks to Musa. They're going to try IVF. There's no Musa doesn't want to be part of it. She tells her sisters how she feels. What's her journey? So now we are engrossed in the story because it also makes people feel like, oh, okay, so she might be rich, she might be all of this, but me and her meet on this front, so people feel connected. For example, there's a celebrity reality show where for the first time we saw this person wearing a duke and they were mopping. And I could see the viewers going, "Oh, Miguel," because now we feel like, hey, we know you, we can relate to you. It's like having your favorite celebrity drink Savannah. Then you're like, hey, me and this person can be friends. Even though you know you will never be friends, but the fact that they're doing that, they're showing that they're a human being. Viewers will walk away if they find that your character is unreal or disingenuous, and they won't relate to your character and they will not invest in your story, as they won't find anything that settles the score and makes them feel a part of it. There is a connection between watching reality TV and voyeurism. I know it sounds creepy, but there's something about looking through people's windows and obsessing about someone's private life that just gives us that thing. You would umbonile umakhelwane. That is why when the neighbors is in debt and they come in, what do you call it? When they come and collect the furniture, the whole street is by the window, WhatsApping each other. "Niyabona yini?" I don't know what it is, but that's reality shows. It's that thing that you feel like I've got a private window into Kanye Bao's life, and it makes you want to watch and see her ups and downs. Reality viewers love to talk about their shows like they are really happening to people they know. So, like I said, on Utan, how I could gauge that it was doing well is when people started forming groups and cliques defending their characters. It means I've unraveled their character so holistically and so well that one day you don't like them, one day you like them, because that's how we are. That is how we are as human beings, right? We vary. So that's what I mean when I say flawed characters in a perfect world. Right, moving on to the myths and misconception of reality shows. Guys, boys and girls, shooting a reality show is not a hobby. There is this conception that it's reality, so we just show up and then we plug the cameras and then we are shooting. No, chief, we work. There is planning, there's intention that comes into it. If you look at my little t-shirt here, it says fix it in post, then that's scratched out, it fix it on set. Now, one thing that will always be universal about reality shows is you cannot fix it in post because it's real. You're working with people's lives and people's emotions. So if you hear someone says, Donna, will see in edits, run. Because let me tell you something, on a reality show, you have to be alert and you have to be sharp because it's happening in real time. The worst thing you can do to your character is to say, hey, Mamkulu, I missed that. Please just shout at her again. You can't do that because it's real time and it's real emotion. So that's why it's important for your teams to understand how it works and for your cameras to always be alert of what's going to happen. And one of the ways that I'm going to advise, it may not work for you, but it works for me, is that, for example, let's say I'm shooting Housewives, and last night there was a dinner scene and there were arguments that were flying over the table. When you walk in on set the next day, create a nice energy. Speak to people. Speak to your talents. Hey, Lebu, hey, Litabo, how you doing? And then Litabo will be like, I didn't even sleep. That label girl's gonna get it. How dare she? So already as a director or a content person on set, you already know because you've been advised that, hey, things are about to pop off here. So what do you do as a director? You brief your team. So don't allow maybe Ulita to tell you the whole thing because you don't want to also exhaust her off camera and take away that emotion from her while she's still telling the story. But just check on your people to understand where their mindsets are. What are they thinking? Because you might have planned that today we're shooting a spa scene, and I would like Ulitabo to announce that she's getting married. But because of what happened last night, she's not in that headspace. So it's very important as directors, we don't have egos. Reality shows are not about us. So I may wake up and say, today I'm shooting Litabo, asking the other wives to be her bridesmaid. But she's angry today. She wants to tell Ulebo something. So I've got to allow the organic content to take place. Then what I do is I brief my cameras, agents, there's a situation, so Litabo, Lebu, and good camera guys will tell you, okay, Ish, P, please try and make sure Lebu sits here and then Litabo sits here so that the angles are right. Then what you do is you're alert. You're shooting other things, but you are watching your aid story. So you always have a camera on Ulitab. You see her tapping the table. You see her maybe ordering tequilas. You can see, this one, she's upset. She starts rolling her eyes. By the time she says, hey, when I label, by the way, you've got to build up. And why I'm sharing this, that it's important because if your camera was not watching Litabo, what you will have is Litabo saying, yeah, when I label last night, which is fine, but it's not a beautiful moment because you caught it halfway. So now imagine if you have the build-up of the anger. You can tell the story much more holistically. So do not fix it in post. Fix it on set. Another thing, boys and girls, if you feel off on set, if it feels fake on set, it will feel worse on TV. Stop the cameras, speak to your people, and ask them what's wrong. Is this topic uncomfortable? How do you want to talk about it? Because you're dealing with real people. Don't have an ego. Don't walk in on set and say, yay, I said you are proposing to these girls. Because then when your character starts feeling off and they're doing it because now they feel like it's a job, you will feel it. And viewers will pick it up too. The three phases of production. So I'm going to speak about these three phases in pre-production, production, and post in the context of family, celebrity, or individuals. Because obviously, if you look at your competition ratios, for example, your Love Island or your Survivor, their pre-production is very different. They do your casting, you enter, then maybe you go on an audition and vice versa. So I'm not going to speak about those reality shows. I'm going to speak about, in the context of family, that's your Utando Tembus, your Ranakas, celebrity, your Mamkizes, your Bonangs, or individual reality shows where we follow a particular person. So, like again, please be open-minded. This is not a manual for everyone. This is just my key things that I think will help you. So just quickly, pre-production is obviously your pre-planning and research. I would like to say it's almost like living in the day of the character. So you embody yourself. You research what your main story arcs are. You hang out with them. You do what they do without the cameras, if your budget allows. Because sometimes we don't have the money to go and research for 2 weeks. But even if it's a week or the 3 days that your producer allows you, go have a braai, go chill them at their house, see them in their most normal, most comfortable. But don't forget to wear care. So don't enjoy too much, then you forget your notes. Identify your key story arcs. So what I mean by story arcs is, what are the things that they're trying to do? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? So, for example, this particular family is trying for a second baby, and they have to overcome family judgments. If you watch a Bling Empire on Netflix, one of the main story arcs for this super rich lady, which I really liked how they did that, is that they showed us the super rich lady who has everything in the world but couldn't conceive. And the problem is she came from a royal family, and they judged her for not being able to give them a son. So her story arc is trying for a baby and overcoming family judgment. For example, somebody else could be trying to lose weight in order to be a model. So you can only identify those things if you talk to people, ask them the questions, live in their lives. And sometimes just by spending 2 days with someone, you can see where the problems are not trying to do. Then production. So once you've done that, you've got all your information, all your story arcs, you kind of know what is it that you want. But be open, it may change. Production is your shooting now with all your production teams, your technical crews, and you are shooting your day-to-day events, which you've done in research. And these are things that lead up to the main event. So one thing I also need to speak about is it helps you in your season if you've got main events. And if you don't, ask them to create them. You're not telling them to script, but you're asking how, since Spanman is getting married, don't you want to do a bachelorette? These events help you have a GPS to somewhere. So main events help you because if you know there's a wedding, there's a bachelorette, there is a baby shower. You can shoot small day-to-day events leading to a baby shower. So one of your scenes could be going to buy gifts, going to do this. And these scenes become environments where you can push what? Your story. So shoot for day-to-day leading up to main events. Also look for day-to-day stories that organically happen. I always tell characters, especially on talent, when you wake up in the morning and your dog is sick and you're gonna take it to the vet, and I've asked you to come shoot a breakfast scene, call me. Don't cancel and say, "Yeah, my dog is sick. I can't come on set." That's a story. Anything is story. Your role as a director or a content person is to find it. There is story in everything. Someone's phone ringing and them looking at it and not answering is a story. So build such a good relationship with your talent that they tell you everything. Yo, today my leg is swollen. That's a story because maybe the leg is swollen, but there's no one in the house to help you maneuver your leg. Then you can delve into she's single, she's lonely, she's sick, she's by herself. It's a story. Don't script, but be intentional. Do not tell people, hey, we're in a woti or say this. That is scripting. Intention is having a small prayer to say, ish, my intention is to show how Mayeni is really struggling with accepting the new wife, is an example. That's my intention. So then I will say, I'm gonna shoot a scene with someone Mayeni trusts, and I'm gonna ask this person to please open up because Mayeni hasn't been feeling well. For me, that's the best I can do. But to say to her, yeah, say this because I saw you yesterday, it's tricky. And I've seen people do that. I just feel like it pushes people away and people feel like, yeah, it's an actor. Then when they hear action, They're like, yeah, friend. So I hear you're unhappy. Yes. So sketch. So I would advise you to always be intentional about what is it that you want, what is it that you hope for, but also allow it to change. Remove ego. It is not about you. Ask yourself, what information do I want to reveal, or what information is being revealed at this moment, so that it builds to your story arc. Adapt to changes. Always allow organic content to lead you. The more organic it is, the better. But always have your plan B scenes if it's a bit. Change doesn't mean lack of preparation. It's not a drama series. Remember the intention. Story can happen in any environment. You just have to have the ability to identify it. A great example before I move on real quick. Anta and Nisembu had a scene where all the wives and the husband were there. No one was speaking to each other. Zero. Everyone was eating. There was no conversation. I'm sitting in a position where I'm saying this is a story for me because it reveals that sometimes they don't just speak to each other. Then I'm sitting in a position where somebody else, maybe who's senior, says, no, Portia, make them talk about something. So now what do? That's what I'm saying. You have to make that decision. So I made the decision to go, no, guys, this season, me, I'm shooting the truth. So I shot. What happened when that episode played? The viewers went crazy because they were like, they couldn't believe the awkwardness, first of all. And they also couldn't believe that these ladies are married to one man, but they can't speak to each other. But that's the truth. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So that's what I mean when don't be nervous when things are not going the way you planned them. It's a reality show. It's allowed. Just be able to find the story. Then, real quick, production. I spoke about production. That's what I'm talking about. Story day to day. Post production is your edits. I really enjoy edits. Edit is sitting with chunks of footage that have to be edited to create one synced story with a beginning, middle, and end. I found this on the internet and I thought it was really powerful. It's from an editor, and they say in narrative, which is your dramas and screenplays, conflict is king. However, crafting compelling, layered, truthful characters is key to the audience caring about the journey. Reality TV might be the purest exploration of that concept. Beautifully said. So it's hours of footage that needs to be whittled down to identify the desired conflict. Go back to my Litabo and Lebo example. An editor will be grateful if you show them the build up, the tapping of the hands on the table, the ordering of the tequilas, the rolling of the eyes, and then the confrontation. Because why they can build. And when they're building, what are they doing? They're building a beginning. This is where it started. This is where it went. In conclusion, label walked off. That is your beginning, middle, and end. But if you don't shoot the little things, your editor is frustrated because they're sitting with the little going, yeah, when I live, no one knows where it started. What's the context? And if things don't have context, they start feeling a bit fake. And maybe they're not fake, but it's because you didn't shoot the build up, you didn't shoot the B roll, you didn't shoot the cutaways, and your editor doesn't know where the story started. So try and apply that. And then obviously edits, you apply nuances in edits. My favorite are the master interviews, which what we also call diaries, which is where you shoot off. Some people do it differently. Some people do it after the episode. Some people will prefer to watch the scene and then do the diaries. I prefer to not watch the footage, to actually do the scene and then ask questions based on what I saw on the scene. And here, me, I ask everything because I don't know what's going to be the most powerful in the edit room. So these master interviews, they help you amplify your scene. Let me tell you something. When you're doing a show that's 48 minutes, let me tell you, 5 segments is not a joke. 48 minutes of content is very difficult. So your diaries help you amplify that scene. So again, if Litabo is tapping her hands on the table, diary goes, hey, today is the day. That's what you're saying in the diary. You see how it's amplifying your story to move. When someone is in an argument and they're crying about, I'm really struggling, I really want to be a mom, and the diary goes, if only I could have a child. What is it doing? Amplifying, accelerating your story. One last quote that I also found that I thought was very powerful just to end off post production. It says, I'd say it's fair to say that since we are approaching the storytelling from a more of a writing perspective, we use certain tricks more often, like cheating lines from an entirely different scene or using interviews to punctuate a moment. We don't necessarily have all the elements you would naturally expect from a scripted shoot, So, more often, search across all the footage of the season to find the wild lines or the reaction shots to make a scene work. When it comes together seamlessly, it's really gratifying. So I think that really sums it up as well. Edit is really where the magic actually happens because you can manipulate, but I guess it's for debates as to how much do you manipulate and how much is actually real, and that's a decision you and the team can only make for yourselves. Right, nearly done, guys. Before I bore you, authenticity in how you represent your characters. This is my favorite because you know when I keep on saying don't have an ego, it's not about you. It's very important. I'm not just saying that because Jay. It's very important how you choose to represent someone. Do you represent them exactly as they are, or do you represent them the way that you feel they should be seen? So, reality shows, just like history, are not always grounded in facts, rather in the interpretation of those in charge. Are there any responsibilities in how we represent our characters, or is it simply entertainment? Because it's objective, how I see Mamkize and how someone else sees Mamkize is very different. But if I'm in a position of power, what do I show? Do I show everything? Do I show half? Do I not? The answer is up to you. My answer is as a director, one of my producers was speaking here yesterday. She's the one that will deal with what is too much and too little. But I would rather show the most that I can and rather tone it down if it's going to get them into a PR nightmare or it's going to get them into trouble or whatever the case may be. Rather have a lot than have a little. So, for example, you guys might be wondering, but Portia, are you saying now if somebody is drunk and they're falling everywhere, are you going to show that? No, I'm not going to show that. But what I might do is I might close the door and I have someone say, "Are you okay?" And only have the audio of them saying, "Leave me alone." That's right. I might just put that just to show you what's as in this problem, this person has a problem because I don't know later in the season what if there's an intervention to help this person deal with substance. So I'm not gonna show you falling, but I might have little nuances of what your problem is. But I really like this question, and I think we should all go to the homework of how much do we say and how much do we not say, and when is it hiding the truth and when is it protective? It's completely up to you. And nearly there, the real in reality. In the ever changing world, people are feeling less connected with the people around us, especially lockdown, COVID. So there is more pressure on reality producers and directors to do the real thing. So, with the people around us and way before, due to our busy schedules, COVID, other things, we are now finding that connection in our characters or contestants in your reality show. Every genre of television, but reality TV in particular, gives us a false sense that we really know the people on screen each week. This is a sense of having a personal relationship, amplified with the reality label. Even though sometimes we're well aware that this reality piece is often exaggerated. But modern life has pulled us in so many different directions, closed ties with families and friends, that over time we come to see the folks portrayed on screen as our friends. We identify with their struggles and their triumphs. So it's much less time consuming to take half an hour of television show than to connect with a friend, and that is a sad truth. So we can squeeze in a rated TV show between work, between washing the dishes and putting the kids to bed. And it seems that the less connected you feel with people in your life, the more you may seek drama in reality shows, which is good for us. The more the eyes, the more the ratings, the more we have jobs. um, Vulnerability and instinct. My last slide. Boys and girls, don't be afraid to be called emotional. It's okay, especially to the males or the men who are directors or content producers or content directors. You are dealing with content. Yes, a lot of you might be asking, why did I not touch on the technical aspect? Because technical is different. I don't know what reality show you're shooting. So I can't tell you what lens to use, how to shoot it, because I don't know what world you're in. But the reason why I touched on all these different topics is because they're universal, no matter which show you're shooting. I had a little bit of a struggle. A lot of the time, people used to call me, oh, Maru Portia emotionally. Portia, you're crying. And then I realized, no, I'm going to own it because what I'm feeling on the set is probably what the viewer at home is going to be feeling. And I'll give you an example. On season 3 of Utando, I had noticed that Usne was not okay, just off camera, on camera. And I sat down with her to discover what was the problem. I didn't know about the rape story. I didn't know, but I could feel and sense emotionally that something was off. As I started digging deeper, she then revealed what her problem was. So imagine if you're not gonna allow yourself to be vulnerable, what's going to happen? I see a lot of the time on sets, people come in and they change the mood and they bakulomi, they're moody. Now the whole set is tense. We don't know, have you not eaten? Say, what's the problem? People are just, I'm not saying about umuntu abantu or, be this exaggerated person, but I'm saying as a director, your emotion and your mood is critical to the room and to the set and particularly to your characters. So if you are intense and if you are not speaking, people will feed off that energy. Your characters will feed off that energy and they will too be closed off. So showcase the emotion you feel onto the picture. There's nothing as bad as, yo, but when I was there, it was so emotional. But in edit, it's not. So you must show it. So when you are crying, cry, but also allow the character to cry as well. I always say, if I'm the clown, I will win. If I show vulnerability, they show vulnerability. You're not weak. You're not a clumsy director. You're actually a very, very, very smart, calculative person who knows how to set the energy in the room to get the best story. Know also when to back off. When you can feel that people are off, I closing the cameras for 5 minutes to speak to somebody will save you 3 episodes than saying, hey, Sashuta, give me direct. No, it's real people, it's real emotions. Trust your intuition when something is off. Tune into your body. When you're watching a scene and you feel good, oh, yeah, this is fake. They don't mean what they're saying. Don't let it go because let me tell you, when it's on TV, it's on Twitter. I'm sure Nomazis will speak about it. It's show you fake. But usually the scenes where people complain about them being unreal, if you really think back, it's probably the same scene that you felt was off. Fix it on set. If it feels fake on set, it will feel worse on TV. And lastly, learn how to transfer emotion into picture. It's okay to be a mess, but can your mess be a story? Characters reveal themselves. Let them do it. I I thank you. That is it. Over to you.
Oh my goodness. That was intense. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to start to wrap all that mind blowing information. Let me just see what I can. Oh Lord, there's so much. Yes, I think for me, one of the big takeaways was, you need to know what world you're trying to create, because that is the framework in which your characters are going to play in. And people want to see different worlds. They want to see Amish people. They want to see how plastic surgeons are living. They want to see those different worlds that they don't have access to, and that lures them in. But what makes them stay is the people's story. I don't want to just see this plastic surgeon having this great life. I want to see that him and his wife are having fertility problems and they're struggling and they might get divorced. We don't know. We want to see that weight loss journey on my 600 pounds. We want to see those stories. So for me, that was amazing. And also the fact that you said that tune into your body. You're dealing with real people. You're not dealing with robots that must just do what you say they must do as a director, but you are actually building relationships with people when you're working with them on a reality show. Tune into them, be intuitive, use those intuitive gifts. They are your ammunition to getting that really great story out. Oh yeah, yeah. I have, I have a lot of work to go back to, but let me see. We have some good questions for you. Um, how do I know you have a lot to say about diary sessions, especially diary sessions that feel a bit scripted. So, for you, what's your process in creating that authenticity in a diary session, because it is after the fact, but you still want to capture that authentic feel. What is your process?
If you copy, you copy at your own risk. um, but my process is very similar to what I would say you should do in real life with your own friends. So again, you must read the room. How's everyone feeling today? If you feel good, it's two tense, play some music. I really like playing music on a diary session, especially before the characters come in. What I also like to do is remove characters from the diary session if it's not ready. I don't like on screen talent seeing the machines and the lens and us putting on the lights, because again, psychologically, they go, see actor. So I move them away from the environment and only bring them in when we're done. I play
Mm.
music, I create a nice environment. And then once the diary session starts, now my team that I work with knows, Abu Orel, Abu Lebu, Abu Tolani, all these camera guys know that me, and I don't even allow you to breathe, because I'm so focused on this person that I'm talking to that if you're on your phone, first of all, people don't sit in front of me, they sit behind me. Because if you're on your phone or you do something, your energy will pull me
Mm.
away.
Mm.
Diary
Mm.
sessions are like therapy. Like therapy, it's eye contact, it's energy. So me and Mayeni have to lock each other's energy in. And then my advice is that try and ask the questions as if they happened yesterday, as if they're in the now. So, Mayeni, when you walk in, how you right? Then she'll explain. Another key tip I will give the people to fix the country is try and avoid putting your words into somebody else's mouth. So try and avoid giving them the adjective. For example, if someone phone, let's say Mayeni's phone rings, she looks at it, she doesn't answer. How Mayeni not answering your phone? You know you are annoyed. Okay?
Mhm.
Rather try, I see your phone is ringing. How are you feeling? Why are
Mhm.
you not answering? Why do you feel like that? Allow them to drive you and tell you how they're feeling. And then you
Mhm.
expand on that. But yes, create a good environment, lock in the energy, ask them all the questions without making them feel like they're in prison. Avoid putting your emotions into your questions. And again, the more real I am in the diary session, the better it's going to be received.
Mm, mm. Yes, that's a good one, especially on the locking in on the energy, because yeah, I suppose because some of us are quite technically inclined, we might run away from, that intimacy that you have to basically create in a diary session.
Yes.
Okay.
And listen to the answer. Because you're
Uh-huh.
saying some people might be technically inclined, you're right. So I've seen that sometimes people ask the question, they're not listening to the answer, they're ready for the next one. And then what happened?
Mm.
So you're not listening to what the answer is, because the answer will guide you. Because maybe your second question is not the right question. After the answer you just heard, then you go to
Mm.
question number six. An energy thing. It's like when you're
Mhm.
talking to your friends, use the same. Don't change who you are in real life because now you're on a set. It's
Mhm.
a real.
Okay, so tell me, we don't talk about this enough, I feel. Process. What is your creative process? Again, because, and I'm not bashing my beautiful brothers, but because we're so technical, intellectually framed as a society, we don't see the importance of having a creative process as a creative, you know? So, can you share some of your creative processes as a director? Because this is something that I struggle with as a director myself. I'm very easy to create the shot list and do the treatment and all those things. But when it comes to now putting in my creative gifts and my intuitiveness into the process, I struggle a little bit. So, can you share with us your creative process? How do you like prepare mentally, emotionally to go into a shoot like Utando Nestembo, for example?
Um, I like what you're saying when you're saying it's very easy to do a short list because it's technical. There's a
Mm.
formula. 4 divided by 2 is 1. That's it. The short is here. But what I'm gonna answer you in a question. Are we not comfortable to do the more technically inclined stuff because there's a manual and there are formulas? Do we not do we not have fears of sharing who we are with the world?
Mhm. Yes,
And the
100%.
reason why most people will struggle, I also struggle, I still do. Why people struggle with the more creative stuff is because that's them. And most of the time, it is your intuition you are putting into the story, and how you behave dictates how other people behave. But we are scared because that's vulnerable. That's me showing who I am. That's me listening to my
Mm.
body. So I would advise that I guess again on my reality show when on a one-on-one with yourself, do you know how it is to be you? Can you date yourself and know yourself
Mhm.
so that you can understand what are the things that you need to make a successful show? So one of my creative
Mhm.
processes is, for example, if I'm going into a hectic production like this team, I don't want problems. My family knows, don't call me when there's a problem because I don't want to shift my energy on the day. If there's a mjolo happening and the mjolo is at a stage where there are problems, I pause the mjolo. Sometimes I hardly even drink when I'm in production because everything is in my body, is in my mind, and I'm so responsible for for everybody else that I have to be sane. So that's part of my creative process. But unfortunately, I don't have a manual answer for you because it's not technical. You have to be so confident in who you are because if you're not, everybody else will fall short. So
Mm.
let's also not focus too much on the thing that we know, which is the technical aspects. And you find out people that argue that, yeah, but directors must know technical. Yes, they must. Because you must be able to know that if the camera guy is using the wrong lens and shooting too far, you can say, yo, dude, I'm actually shooting quite an emotional scene and I kind of need to see them closer. But I will only know
Mhm.
that it's an emotional scene if I've tapped into my intuition. So be
Mhm.
fearless, be confident about who you are, believe in your intuition, believe in yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but you
Mm.
really have to believe in yourself because if you don't, whatever you do will be very lukewarm, and viewers don't like
Mhm.
things that don't have an agenda. So that's part
Mm.
of my creative process. And I'm also a very spiritual person. So I pray a lot. I meditate a lot because I have to constantly pure my energy. So I can't walk in on Sunday same with my problems. I must deal with my
Mhm.
tailor's problems. So I must be
Mhm.
a vessel, I must be pure, and I must be focused.
Amen. Woo! Hallelujah. Okay, I'm gonna take some questions from our beautiful audience. This is from Bunolo Maduna. She's asking, oh yeah, they are asking the role of the shortlists in reality TV. How do you plan to, how do you do a short list for an unscripted program? Do you do one?
Yes, I do one, but I'm not sure if I want to call it a short list because that is more drama and film, but it is a short list. So I do have a plan. For example, I'll give you a housewives example. So if I'm shooting what we call a finale, which is where they're all together and they're eating dinner, there are basic things that are standard that in any TV show you need. You need an arrival. An arrival is also called an establishing or an establishment shot. That's a
Mhm.
short list. It's like when you go to a restaurant, what's the first thing you see is the name of the restaurant, establishing shots. Then I need my cutaways of my B-roll to establish the environment, the flowers, the glasses, the waitress, the whatever. Then, because I'm aware that I'm shooting a very personal scene between someone who broke up with someone, then I know that I need close-ups. I need a close-up of the hand because I need to see is she wearing the ring or is the breakup really over. So then you start developing your shot list based on the
Mhm.
intention of your story. Then I need close-ups here and there. Then of course you always need your wide shot because your wide gives you a sense of what's happening in the room, and your wide also helps you in edit because if I'm focused on this person and something happens and I need a cutaway, I can always go to my wide where I can see everyone and it's a safety shot. Then, of course, the more detailed shots you would need. And I think there, I know I rely a lot on my DOPs to kind of assist as well. So I do have a basic shot list that I have, But as you can hear by where I'm saying, my short list is usually very much motivated by the story. And then my DOP will always advise to say, P, if you're looking for this, I would advise we shoot it this way. So yes, short lists are important because they guide you technically on what it is that you want to achieve with your story.
Awesome sauce. Okay. We have another question here from Tsebo Mahlobo. How do you pick the right technical team?
Hi, Tebo. It's a tricky one. And I'll be honest with you and say why. It's a tricky one because one might argue would say the industry has clicks. This producer is always working with this director. And I used to judge that a lot to say, no, guys, there are no clicks in the industry. Then I remembered would say actually, whether you want to call it a click or not, it's important that you are comfortable with the people that you're going to be away with for 6 months. So how I choose my technical team is yes, based on talent, but I also choose people who I'm like, do they have the instinct for reality? Are
Mm,
they quick enough on their feet to get the shot? And how fast are they in adjusting, framing, focus, roll? They need to have agility. So uma ngikubona ukuthi u-cameraman ongathi slow, usacabanga ukuthi, oh, okay, yes, bani, you make me nervous because it's a reality show and I've got comms to you. So if I say Macele, Macele, and you're gonna frustrate me because you're going to lose the moment. So that's one thing: instinct, agility, and of course skill. Why I
mhm,
say skill is I don't know what environments I'm going to shoot in. So if you look at your really emotional shows like your Tatako, your Kumbule Kai, so when we're going to look for somebody's mother, I don't know where I'm going. Now I get there, it's in the deep bundles of Greytown, and there's no electricity, but I need to
mm,
shoot and it's dark. So I need a DOP who will know, which, okay, we need these kind of lights, we need them vlog, and it's fast and they know how to shoot in any environment. And again, it's
mm,
skill and talent. They know in whatever environment they can turn that picture to the best quality that it is. I get scared of camera people who, when they get on location, they freeze. They don't know
mm,
what to do. I advise that camera guys like that, abaya drama because in drama you have your script, you have your location, you've got a lovely thing that they call a reiki, where you get to see where you're shooting, where you get to see where your lights are going to be, how your act is going to come in. Most of the times in reality in South Africa and with the producer that I have, sometimes she'll give me a reiki, but sometimes she won't because there's no money to go with my crew to go see the space. So sometimes I have an hour and a half when I arrive on location to make it work. So you need people with raw talent, raw skill, instincts, and agility. That's the best answer I can give you.
That's a good answer. Another one from Tobeka. What made you to decide to become a director and why this specific role? That's a goodie. Thanks, Tobeka.
Hi, it's Omega. Did I decide or did it call me? I don't know. I think it called me because when I was doing content, like I said, man, like when I'm on sets, I'm a highly intuitive person. So I want to know what's happening. Why is this one looking away? Why is this one upset? So I love story and I love people. But I realized when I was doing production roles is that, okay, my job is to get this from A to B. A, but I'm not influencing anything. Me, I want to be able to hold a story here and say, oh, Utobega is upset today. I want to know what it is. Then I want to help her. Then I want to see how she comes out of it. That in English is also called directing. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes don't let the words of the role intimidate you. Maybe you
Uh-huh.
are a director, you just don't have the name yet. So I got into directing because I love story and I love putting it together. Because as a director, you have to oversee the entire thing. Whereas in other roles, I used to get frustrated because I couldn't influence it. I'm seeing
Mm.
someone crying, but my role doesn't allow me to go, oh, but she's crying because of what happened yesterday. So let me show this. You know what I'm saying? That's how I sort of moved
Mm.
into to directing. I love story and I love putting it together. And I think it's something that called me to doing it. And I think I've always been a director. I just didn't have the name. Now I've got the credit for it.
the credits. I love it. And then our last question from Tifaya Seloa. What is the difference between live reality shows or event based versus narrative reality shows?
The difference is on a live, you lose weight rapidly. On a pre-recorded, you take longer to lose weight. The reason I say that live, like the word says, it's happening now. I've seen a live show where I think the countdown was too early. The presenter walked in, and then we're still on ad break. So by the time we came back, the presenter was still doing makeup. That's a live show. It is
Uh-huh.
so technically working with time and what it is. So live, it means the cameras are rolling and the feed is going to the viewers at the same time. You cough, you sneeze, the viewer will see it. It's rolling, it's
Mhm.
going live. You mess up the auto cue of the link, the viewers will hear it because it's
Mm.
going out at the same time in real time to the masses. Pre-recorded means you have an edit suite and an editor who had time to look at the footage, take away certain things, took away maybe the beginning part that took too long, take away the glitches, neaten it up, make it neater, construct the story a little bit, chop the diary question, take this answer, put it here. So you've got time to bake, you've got time to cook, and then showcase your beautiful cake to the world. So that's the difference. The
Mhm.
difference is the other one is in real time.
Mm.
If you make a mistake, the whole world can see it and you're fired now. The other one, you've got a little bit of time to make a mistake because we can still maneuver. So
Mm.
those basically are the two differences, and I hope I've answered your question.
No, you have. One is unforgiving, the other one is not forgiving at all. Oh my gosh, Portia, thank you so, so much. We have our results from our poll, but before I get it, I just thank you so much for your energy, your honesty, your authenticity. We are so, yeah, I have so much, like, we need another one of this, basically. We need another one from director to director. So, oh, we have a nice comment. Oh, okay, I'm gonna read it. It doesn't say who it's from, but it says, "I had the pleasure of being on set with Portia. What she said is the absolute truth in how she works." Oh, from Anon. Oh, that's so cool.
Don't make me cry, y'all. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Anon. Oh, that now I'm like, don't cry on a live stream. Oh my gosh. Yeah, basically we need another one, and that's that. We'll work on that. So our results from our poll. So this is what we asked our beautiful humans. Does local reality TV showcase authentic South African experiences? And 78% of you guys said yes, and 23% said no. So Portia, exactly, you are doing the things. If 78% of people on this call, who a lot of them are in the industry, feel like they are experiencing authentic South African experiences. So thank you, and continue the amazing, incredible work. Oh, you can, yeah. So I am going to move on to our next beautiful speaker, Nomazizi Masabe. So the reason why we thought it was important to have Nomazizi, or a section about social media within this masterclass, is because social media is just like a reality show. The influencers are the reality stars, and the platform, be it Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, is like a broadcaster. It's like Mzansi Magic or SABC. And so we thought it's important to have Umdu like Unomazizi, who has worked with us to develop an influencer strategy for Love Unlocked, and how we can really create and integrate those connection points with our audiences using influencers with established brands. So she has been really key in building the world of Love Unlocked and how we translate it in this platform, because Love Unlocked is happening on social media. It's not happening on on a traditional broadcast platform. She was such a great help in building it for this audience and for this kind of consumption. So Nomazizi has worked with amazing brands like KFC and Reebok, and also has helped build influencer brands like Notando Duma and now I wrote things, Wiseman Smith. So for today, she'll be thank you. My autocorrect did wrong thing.
It's okay.
So yeah, so we'll be hearing about how do you start to build your reality brand um, before it gets onto reality TV. How to use social media to build up that story, to build up that following, and it's something then that you can take to a broadcaster and Mzansi to say, hey, this is how, these are the followers I have, these are the people who are interested in my life. Let's turn this into a TV situation or sitch. So Namazizi, I will start sharing the screen here on my side. Take it away.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Nomazizi Mahlave. So basically, I think of myself as a social media enthusiast. This is only because I work in so many aspects of social media. So, oh, sorry, Gula, could you just pause it a bit right on that slide?
Oh,
It's playing the video. No, it's okay. The slide is fine.
Pause.
Okay, let's get back to the first one.
Technology, guys. Wait, I'm going to stop share because now it's
okay. Or you can just go to the first slide and then just pause it there. If
goodness gracious me.
You're running.
Let me try this again. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Maybe.
How do I don't do that.
Yeah. Okay, are we good? No?
Let's see if it paused.
Hallelujah. All right, I think it's paused. Okay, while we're trying to figure out this. Okay, so yes, I'm in all aspects of social media in terms of digital marketing, managing, and vetting content, if you will. My experiences come from certain social media campaigns. I've worked with brands, as like Julia said. I've worked with Javianos, KFC, Reebok, wow, McD's. I could go on forever, not to blow my own horn or anything like that. It's just so it's pretty credible. So yeah, with that being said, I know the ins and outs of social media and digital marketing and how to actually build a name for yourself in order to actually get people like Portia to be interested in your lifestyle and how you go about your day in general. A few pointers before I get into my presentation would always be
sorry, Zizi.
Oh, I'm using it again.
I'm doing wrong things. There we go.
Sorry. Okay, I think let's just go to the second slide.
No. It's me. Yeah. I'm doing too many things at the same time. Please continue.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, cool. Let me just get into the slide while we're here. So yeah, how to build an audience. So if you want to be someone that actually wants to have their life exposed to a certain audience or whoever's willing to watch, you need to be able to find certain things about yourself, certain characteristics that you're willing to expose as well. So also, like going back to what Portia said, not everything is going to be happy dory with you. I mean, life happens to everyone. Everyone got affected with corona. Let's see that as well on your socials. Not everyone's going to be flying on jets and everything. It happened to everyone. So don't leave that part out of your life. Okay, with that being said, the first thing that you need to do is get a niche. What are you into? What do you like doing? What do you find yourself posting most about? And what actually motivates you to post more of it? Are you someone that likes going horseback riding? So if you are, then obviously maybe make your content about that and also educate yourself more on that, so that you're more credible and also so that you can actually build something more than just pictures off of it. Make money out of your hobbies as well. Have fun while you do it. You can literally live rent free with like horses wherever. Just saying, as an example. And then you go into engagement. How do you plan on actually having engagement under these posts or under the certain topic or this niche that you build or this community that you have? How are you handling your followers? How are you handling the brands that might want to be interested in endorsing certain things that you do and activities, going to Durban July, certain aspects like that? How are you going to handle that conversation and keep it interesting year round? You can't only be relevant in July, because then what are we doing? So with that being said, you have to always be able to be also constantly on your socials. If you're someone that has a 9 to 5, then you can employ someone to actually be your social media manager. There's really nothing wrong with that. All you have to do is you go through what your calendar may be in terms of your content calendar, which is obviously you making content and deciding which times and when you will be posting that, and certain captions. Copy is always important when it comes to engagement, because that also leads to how people will engage to your post. And I know a lot of people say bad publicity is also good publicity. I mean, to a certain extent, I disagree, because I mean, there's controversial and then there's just blasphemy and rude. So obviously you want to do your research. Don't speak on something you have no clue about just to gain engagement, because that also reflects badly on your brand and what you've built, and also to the community of people that are following you. You don't want to disrespect anyone, but yes, you can obviously have a debate or two on certain aspects of whatever you are into. But obviously on an educated manner, don't be too ignorant. It's very, very important to be educated with what you're saying, because this is stuff that will follow you. Remember that the internet never forgets. Whatever you post will be there. People screen grab every day. We also know on WhatsApp groups, you get certain things that you weren't supposed to hear. So please, guys, make sure that you always proofread. You can never proofread too many times. And I am guilty of that. Sometimes on my own personal social media, I literally will let autocorrect do its thing, and now all of a sudden my tweet doesn't make sense. And then I'm kicking myself in the morning because I'm like, this is so cringeworthy. But I mean, you have the time to do that. If you have the time to do it, do it. Always read it 3 times, read it with different tones, just to see how it would be from just different aspects and different perspectives and different people and how they would receive it. Okay, and then the third thing would be timing. So timing also intertwines with when you're posting, which also goes into your engagement. So who are you trying to engage with? Who are you trying to target? And who do you want to actually receive the message and the caption? And who do you think will actually receive it better or have more to say on it? And also relevance. Please don't for example, I know everyone likes doing the whole throwback thing, but I feel like we've all noticed that that doesn't really generate a lot of engagement. I mean, if it's something for your own personal profile, sure thing, go for it. But most of the time, people actually just they post something as a TBT because they think it's a nice picture, and kudos to that, great content, but there's no relevance. It's just more, it's stale, it's dry. What are we going to talk about? You're talking about the Durban July and it's January. And are we supposed to see the hat that we saw 6 months ago? I'm not interested. I'm going to just swipe up. I've seen this, and it's not going to look cute, right? So make sure that your content is always relevant. If you know that you want to post bomb pictures on Valentine's Day, this is why you have a content calendar, sorry. And this is why then you will start doing your shoots 2 months prior. You start shooting for Valentine's Day and Christmas. Start shooting for Christmas in October. That way your content is pushed out smoothly. You don't have to panic. You're not under pressure either. And you always relax. And you can see when someone really is trying to post like really, really well for something that needs to be posted in like 2 seconds. And also then your followers don't actually have to know that you actually did this 2 months prior, because that also comes into the whole point of the whole reality aspects of things. Portia and them, they will shoot probably months before you see that episode. But when you guys tweet about that episode, it's like it happened yesterday. And the reality stars also engage with that content like it literally happened 2 seconds ago. You know, they don't tweet about it prior, but they know what happened. And they'll also tweet, they're not going to tweet about what's going to happen next week either. They're only speaking on what was aired today. So if you keep that same energy, everyone's going to keep that same energy. The comment section is going to keep that same energy. Because even though you shot this on Christmas and you're posting it on the 24th of Feb, one comment is going to think that you did the shoot today, actually. And this is good content and everything. So also in that aspect, in a way of saving money, shortcuts, hacks, is so that you don't have to book a photographer or a videographer every day. You just maybe book him for 2 days and you literally get so much content out of the way, like a month's worth of content. And this also helps going back to taking content out smoothly, having a content calendar, so on and so forth. Cool. Going into content, I know all of these things sound like they're the same thing, but they all have their own little aspects that are nitty and gritty. So content, always know what you're shooting and what you're trying to relay to your audience. Know why people follow you as well. Some people, a lot of influencers will have a personal account and then they'll have a business account. But many have decided to turn their personal into a business account. And I've seen a lot of people in terms of the audience and followers get frustrated of that, because now someone gets confused as to, okay, but I didn't opt to follow like an advertising page, because then influencers will go and work with everyone under the sun, and it becomes less synthetic. And it's like, okay, cool, but really, what are we doing here? So always think about the content that you post, think about the brands that you want to work with as well, and also think about the fact that every picture has a story behind it, and you can work on that. You could literally start your own little reality series on the story behind this picture, and you can make so many funny things about it. I mean, you could take a really perfect picture and then go live and say, guys, actually, let me tell you what was happening like 2 hours before I took this picture. This is what was going on. My flight got delayed. We got there, all of a sudden we couldn't fly out. You guys might think I'm in Cape Town, but I actually took this picture at Fairlawns in Sandton. And it's like, oh my gosh, I really thought you were in Cape Town. It's like, yeah, guys, I wasn't. Jokey. Content. And now everyone is actually going to continue. And the more people that actually log into your live, then the more other brands and production companies are going to see that, okay, people are interested in what this person has to say. So we could actually put this on TV now, you know, and even you could even get approached by other future production companies like Netflix or other channels like that, because then obviously not a lot of people are interested in TVCs anymore, and you just want to fast forward and watch something now. But that will help as well. Getula, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is also just a few little notes that I don't know if anyone wants to write them down, just write them down. It's just something jotted down really quickly. Just going back into what I said about your niche. Choose what interests you, understand your audience, and build your brand accordingly. Do not be on Instagram posting food and being, you know, you're literally doing the best and your pictures look great and everything, and then you go on Twitter and it's a whole different vibe. Like, it's a whole different person. Be consistent. Be very consistent. I'm not saying speak about food all the time, but I don't know if you've noticed with a lot of chefs nowadays, they always use the same handle, and I cannot stress this enough. Always use the same handle. Don't be Chef Zizi on Instagram and then be Zizi the Babe on Twitter. Like, I don't know if it's the same girl. It's very misleading. Like, you don't know if it's a Prodigy account, you don't know if it's credible. And also try to always put your face on your social media accounts. A lot of people don't really like that, especially if it's a business account. But if you're an independent person, then definitely put your face on your accounts. People like knowing who they're speaking to. People like knowing who they're engaging with. It makes it more comfortable. You know, it makes it more realistic, it makes it more in touch, it makes it more personal. And once again, always respond to people when they come back to you, asking you for recipes. And going back to, if for instance we're doing the food as your niche, you want to go into that, always make sure you have a follow-up. Market every post that you're going to be doing. Post is a marketing itself, but market that post as well. So for instance, in the beginning of the day, you're on your way to work and you're like, guys, you won't believe what I'm going to make for dinner today. Make a story, and then throughout the day, you can just do a few snaps, like a little TikTok, or Instagram has it now as well. What are they calling it? Fleet, not a fleet. Reels, yes. Because Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't let anyone breathe. So you make a little reel about what you're having for lunch, what you had for breakfast, and then you build people up for what you're going to be making for dinner today. Even though you had created this content with the photographer that you booked 2 months ago, because he's also a good videographer, now lay that out with the same tone of today, though. You know what I mean? You've already thought about this prior. You've already marketed it so well, and the content looks good. It's feasting your eyes. No one wants to see pixelated screens. I'm not gonna go through that. I'm just gonna swipe to the next person on my story, And then once you post that, you just make it look cute on your story. Tell people to swipe up for a recipe that goes straight to your blog. And now you're engaging on so many channels. You're having so much traction that you can actually now go back to your KPIs and produce this to a production company or to any other brand that you'd like to endorse you and what you make and what your whole page is about. And you can also have story times about it. Sometimes you can even cook on live, your own cooking show. Eventually you'll get to a point where you do. Now all of us, we also have the reality cooking show with Somizi, because he liked doing smoothies and people like the way he interacts with other people. When Somizi speaks on his lives, it's not like he's speaking down on anyone. He's actually speaking to Uchomiake. So you also feel like, okay, cool, you can comment and say whatever you want, and whichever comment he picks up, he'll say. Right? Okay, cool. I think we can go to the next slide, please. All right, and then obviously, yes, engagement. Okay, cool. So your caption, sorry, that's spelling. Yes. So your caption needs to have an open ending. Didn't see that one. You see, like what I said, always check.
Triple check.
Okay, cool. Triple check. Take it from me, guys. Yeah. So your caption needs to have an open ending. I would always advise an open ending on your caption. I've got a mate that's an influencer, and what he does is he always asks for opinions, and he's also known as the Lightroom star, whatever, in terms of editing. Really good at editing his own pictures and taking them with angles and everything. And what he'd do is edit them in 2 different ways. The same piece of content in 2 different ways, post both images, and ask his followers, okay, cool, guys, which one is better, A or B? And even go back to Twitter and say, guys, with my mood on Instagram right now, how my page is looking, which do you think will actually fit for what I have on Instagram? And he's asking that advice from his Twitter followers, because he's also encouraging them to go follow him on Instagram as well. So it's really a back and forth thing, give and take. Just really need to be smart about it. Always, and never just tell people. Don't give us like a dead end caption, because now we don't know what to say. Must we just like it, retweet it? What else? Also, sometimes even say something that has nothing to do with the image, with the content, and that will also bring up controversy and people talking. You can have a joke over a picture of you skiing. I don't know. You can do what you have fun with it as well, and then people have fun with it as well. Also, you can start now making your own hashtags. Very important. For any event you make, for instance, always a build up, like Portia spoke on in terms of reality TV. If there's a baby shower, you will go shoot content while they're shopping for the baby, shoot content about who didn't get an invite to the baby shower, why they didn't get an invite to the baby shower. Please don't argue at the baby shower. Create a hashtag, Zizi's baby shower, Zizi's all white baby shower. The baby has arrived, something like that. And you can hashtag it throughout all platforms. And just as you go on Google and you use that one hashtag, make sure it's unique, obviously. And you can find all that content lined up. And even if you redirect that to someone else, or any other company or brand, you just say, hey, these are my best hashtags. They go there, they search it, they find it. It's very easy. And also for KPI's sake, it's very easy to track engagement like that. Also, it's to get other people to use your hashtag, you can make challenges. I know a lot of people like creating challenges now, but I mean, that's the way to know that everyone else is interacting with your content. It's always nice to know that people aren't just seeing your content and going, and then doing the same thing without giving you props for it. And also, it's for the timestamp sake. So, for instance, a lot of people steal content. Having a hashtag would be so much easier for you to find that content and the time stamp on it than having to scroll down your TL for a long time. And this is obviously for your remuneration sake, for you to get your monies, because I mean, you don't create content for fun and not get like someone to actually give you your coin. You want your coin, and a timestamp is always great to have it, and a hashtag is always the best way to put it. And of course, respond to all your comments. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying if you have 1 million followers, respond to 200 comments. But if you can, do so. You know what I mean? If you don't have anything else to do, if you're chilling, scrolling down your phone, give the people that follow you and like your stuff the same attention, because without every one of those people, you wouldn't have those million followers and you wouldn't be that relevant either. So show gratitude as well. These are also people that are using their time to go through your stuff and liking their stuff. And also engage with your followers to a point where you can also go live with them. Ask them what they think about the content that you're putting out on live. Be open-minded to having them challenge you to something, obviously not something that you're not comfortable with. If they want you to speak on something and they have questions, answer them, and in a very, very genuine way. It's really disheartening to see influencers that are very pretentious, and it never ends well. It really never ends well. And I can tell you that, like, advertising and TV or production kind of industry, it's very small people talk. So, for instance, not too long ago, I can give you an example. I just had seen a campaign that had gone live for a certain brand, electronic brand, rather, let me say that. And they had people, like they had a lot of people that I have on my TL that are very known for always being very, how can I say this? They're very proud of what phone they use, rather, right? And here they are tweeting and campaigning for a phone they are not even using. And a lot of people know that you don't use that phone. And the second tweet that you do says, okay, cool, tweeted from a so and so kind of, let it be Android or iOS or whatever. You know how I'm getting to it. But it's so disgenuine. It's like, okay, cool, I'm following you and you're telling me to buy something that you don't even speak for. Never seen you speak about this product or this make, but today, because you're getting paid, you're going to talk about it. I don't want to engage with a content creator like that, or someone that's going to use their platform as being a reality personality, or because influencing is really basically about reality and what you bring to the table. When you're being ingenuine, it's not fair. It's not fair on me, and it's not fair on the fact that I follow you for you to lie to me. Cool. And then we go to time and relevance for your own sake and for any other show as well. Going back to what Portia said, things air at a certain time for a certain reason. You know what I mean? Something that's playing at 12 today was probably something that wasn't playing at 12 before lockdown, especially in terms of TVCs. Most of the time, people would have been at work in the office, especially if it's for adults, it was not playing. But today, if you switch on the TV, then you'll probably see an advert of something you might be interested in buying as working class, because they know everyone's at home, right? So you also have to be in a phase where, or a point in your life where you actually start being so organized and reading your audience that you know when certain people are going to be on their phones. You know that, and also think about yourself, because most of the time your niche is you. So when are you actually on your phone when you're not actually just browsing on your friends or in the Uber going somewhere? When are you on your phone? When you get home after dinner and you're just laying in bed about to call it a night. So then let's post then, because most of the people are up then. If you were mom, then you'll know that, okay, most of my peers are tired by 8. The kids are in bed, whatever, whatever. 8:30, I'm out. Then you go live with something at 8, or you go, when I say live, I mean posting something as well. Sorry, that's just also the jargon of digital marketing. So when you go live, you're actually posting something to make sure that you get engagement from that certain audience, because that's also a way of research on certain things. So you know that if you want to have a genuine conversation about a certain product, you're gonna go live at a certain time, just so that you can get real time questions and also advice from people in the same shoes as you, right? Cool. So you study your followers, your audience activity on social media. You set your content to go live at a specific time in relation to the point above. You make sure your content is relevant, very NB. And then you create your own hashtags, which we spoke about in engagement as well. And then content, this is the key to success as well. Very, very important. I mean, all of these points are actually important because they are intertwined. Your post needs to align with your brand as well. Don't be vegan and then posting the picture of that hippo that was slaughtered not so long ago. I mean, ouch. It doesn't make sense. You lose a lot of followers. Very insensitive to your followers as well. And also if you're vegan because you're anti killing animals for the sake of eating, then you're obviously not going to post that. That kind of content shouldn't be on your page, because that's a shocker, and you don't know how people will actually digest that. You don't know who's squirmish. You don't, even if they're not vegan, so make sure it aligns with your brand. Don't be an advocate for something but support someone that doesn't support that certain thing, because now you've decided that you're a public figure and you want to be an advocate for something, but you're hanging out with someone that's not aligned with that brand. It doesn't make sense. It's very ingenuine. How are you supporting me, but also supporting the next person, right? Not saying no one must have their own kind of, how do I say this? Their own belief system or anything. It's not even about that. I mean, religion is separate. I'm not going to touch that. That's not what I'm getting to. I'm just more saying, if you're into a certain lifestyle, don't be seen doing something that doesn't support that lifestyle. Don't sell us veganism and yet you're eating a burger that's made out of beef. They'll be vegan and be seen eating inhloko and mohodu. Like, what are we doing here? You could have not told us you were vegan. You could have not, like, you didn't have to. You really didn't have to get there at all. So think about that. And that's only on selling points on how you want to market yourself and how you want to get into a certain space in terms of being a reality star, and how to upkeep that as well. And also you need to be very okay with your business being on the streets. You're sharing that with us now. Your life is our life now. So when we ask you questions, don't get offended. Don't now all of a sudden have a whole rant on Twitter. You decided to show us this on Facebook or on Instagram. So now we want to know also what happened to Snowy the dog when you and Tabo broke up. What happened? Tell us. You know what I mean? Keep us entertained. Just know that that's also something that you signed up for. Yeah, I think I'm about done. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Let me stop sharing. Thank you, number ZZ. Oh my gosh, I have. Okay, let me try to wrap up that very meaty session, especially because, I've just gotten into, becoming a reality star with my conversations with the Love Activist page. So for me, this was really great information. Like, for example, I didn't understand how important creating your own hashtags are, because it's a great way for you to track how your content is doing,
Yeah.
and also, knowing your audience very, very well and engaging with them. I think now on my part, I've been a little bit afraid. Yes, as much as I'm very vulnerable on the show and I share a lot, I'm like too scared, for example, to do a live. but a live gives me the opportunity to really engage and interact and create that reality show, really, in essence, which is what I'm trying to do. So thank you for ding ding. That was a big one for me, that I need to be brave enough to do to do those lives, because I have decided to share my life, and that's what reality stars are deciding, right? That they're deciding that I'm going to open myself up and share my life, and so I must be okay with hard questions. I must be okay with getting a bit intimate with my audience, because if
Yeah.
I'm not, then why am I even doing this to begin with? um I think which what else did I have? Yeah, the be consistent on different platforms one was also a good one, and also knowing that my hashtag, not my hashtag, my handle on Facebook and my handle on Instagram and my handle on Twitter need to be the same, so that now when people are looking for Tule, the love activist, they're not struggling to go,
Mm.
but on Facebook she's Tule Gobodo, but here she's Tule Mali's mom. Haibo, so creating that consistency when you decide that, okay, I'm going to start using my life as a platform for people to consume, which really is what we're doing when we're posting on social media. But
Yeah.
if you're now deciding to turn it into a business because you want to start approaching brands and also broadcasters to reach a bigger market, then these are things that you really need to take into cognizance. I have a few questions that are okay. Let me ask my questions first before I go into what other
Um,
people have asked. You mentioned, on that you can post something on your Insta stories, and that you can create a swipe up ad that pushes you, let's say, to my YouTube page, where you can now see the full video. How easy is that to do? Because if you're not like a social media person like yourself, it can be hard to navigate the business ads center of like Facebook, for example. What would be your advice on how to make that a really nice and simple experience?
okay, so the thing is, with also the swipe up option, it's very selective in a way that only accounts with more than 10,000 followers can do a swipe up. So that's the tricky thing. But of course, you can always just like in your own little font on your story, you could be like, just go to my link is in my bio if you have less than 10,000 followers, and that will be, make sure that so that your link always pushes to the right platforms that you're sharing your things on. It's always easier to have a linked tree link, which will then send people to all your other accounts. So your Instagram, well, because you're saying this on Instagram, but it really, whichever platform you put in your linked tree link in, it will send you to all your other social media pages, which are all linked into one. And someone can just decide, okay, cool, I want to check out her YouTube, I want to check out her Twitter, I want to check out her LinkedIn, I want to check out her Facebook or her TikTok. Always easier to have them all at once, so that also it avoids the thing of having to go look for the same handle somewhere else, if at all you do have different handles. But we also had a place where in all these apps you can actually change your handle now, but it's always easier. It's almost like a surname. You always want to stick with the same surname so people don't look for the wrong, they don't, so that people can have access to you, they can find you. So if you've been someone that has been calling yourself Zee the Babe since before you had 10,000 followers, then be Zee the Babe forever, I guess, because that's your brand now. Your brand is not Nomazizi Mahlabe anymore. Well, it was never really. Got the 10,000 followers because I was Zee the Babe. So you can stick to that as well. But if you want to rebrand and be like Pit Diddy or Sean Combs, go for it. Try your best and go for it.
Yeah. So I think we just need to reiterate for all our beautiful audiences why we thought it was important for us to have this section in. Because if you notice, a lot of reality shows actually do start off on social media.
Yeah.
You start talking about a trending topic, cheetahs, and then yeah, Jola 99 becomes a show because of what has happened on social media. So Mizi, before you followed him on his reality show, you were following him on his social media account. And so the
Yeah.
social media account is usually where the jumping off point happens. And so as a content creator, first of all, social media is a great way for you to even look for, okay, I am Thule, I am interested in conscious content and I want to create content like this. What are people consuming on social media if I want to now create a reality show around consciousness and spirituality? Are people interested about this? Social media is a beautiful place for you to start, and also broadcasters take social media very much into account to say, okay,
Mm.
I'm bringing Thule, the love activist, to do a show on her. Who are her followers? Who is she? Are people
And
going to
this,
be interested in her?
yeah. So this also goes back to how important the hashtags are. Because now, if
Mhm.
we are looking to actually create a reality TV show around consciousness and spirituality, what are the hashtags are we going to be looking for? Those ones.
Mhm.
So obviously, if your content is about that, then obviously with every caption, you would be putting those hashtags. So your name can be the first 50 tweets that come up, or the first pieces of content that come up. So,
Mhm.
and also goes back to the consistency as well. And with Sumezi, got a whole TV show because he was so interactive on live on Instagram as well. Just adding to what you're saying, which is very NB.
Yes, exactly. So basically, you guys can treat this as pre-production in a way. You
Yes,
you wanna you,
100%.
you wanna do that reality show on your crazy family? Okay, start here. Start with your social media account so that you have something to take to Mzansi Magic to say we have
Look at us.
100,000 people that follow us and love our content. Imagine if we could connect with even more people. All right. So let's see some more questions here. This question is from Anesu Manyonga. Manyonga, I hope I said that right. I'm so sorry. Do the same concepts of TV reality apply to digital reality like YouTube shows that are self-funded or Instagram TV? I would like an answer to that as well as a newbie in the YouTube world.
So sorry, can you please repeat that question? I didn't get the first part.
Oh, okay. Do the same concepts or like what you just spoke about now,
Oh, yeah.
the concepts of TV, reality shows apply to when you're
Apply.
creating a digital reality show?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they definitely do because remember, we're not trying to watch you sleep the whole night. Like, you're not going to be live while we're watching you snore. You're not going to be live while you're in class and nothing is actually happening. I mean, you can obviously continue recording yourself throughout the whole day, but you are going to pick out the things that we would be interested to speak about. So, for instance, I don't know if everyone has gone and had a look at how people have now started doing their reels and their TikToks about their day. They know they literally take 2 seconds of something that they're doing, whether it's them getting up, brushing teeth, everything is just in the form of 60 seconds. We're not doing it throughout the whole day where people are going to be bored. So obvious, like Portia said, the editing is also very important. So the same thing that you're doing with reality TV on TV shows is the same thing you should be putting into your digital TV shows on, well, not TV shows, your digital shows and your live programs. Don't go on live and not know what to talk about. When you go on live, you will have a caption that, hey guys, let's talk about this hippo that went missing. Like, who's living in 4 ways? Ha 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 ha. So all these memes, da da da. No one is trying to get on live and watch you. Like, you're not gonna just look at yourself and then expect your followers to come up with content for you. So yeah, definitely, it's the same concepts.
Yeah.
It's just really quicker a bit, and also really
Mhm.
more about marketing and it's more it's individually based, so you don't really, half the time you don't really have a team to do it for you.
Mhm.
You're not just the reality star that rocks up on set, like how Portia said, she has everyone create the set for them and then they just come in and do their diary sessions. No, you're going to do it yourself, and you have to be able to get a ring light and you have to get a microphone so you clear. Just if you want to do it for real, then you can get funding that way, because no one wants to see a blurred screen. So yeah, same concept.
Yeah. And the beauty, though, about social media, like for example, with Love Unlocked, because it's an online setting, we can play around with the format, right, of a reality show. For us, we're not releasing all 3 segments on one day, but on Monday, segment 1 plays, on Wednesday, segment 2 plays, and on Sunday, it's a live where you get to see which guy she picked from the Zoom dates. And then there's also gamified features within the show. So you're playing games as you're watching the show. There's a poll that says, which guy do you think is going to have the best date between Thabo, Bonga, and Zola? Zola is my guy. And then you're creating hashtags, Team
and
Zola, and conversations. So reality show and social media, there's so many different possibilities because of the fact that you can engage with your people live, which on television you don't have that option. You have to go on Twitter to hear what they say. But 100%. If now we are on Facebook watching Thule getting ready for that date and saying how nervous she is, I as the audience am saying, Thule, don't worry, we're rooting for you. You're gonna find the one and fall in love, and we love you. Oh my God. So that's what's exciting for us, and which is why we thought it was important to include this. I think we have one more question. This is from Anaswege. Oh no, this one is from Anonymous. What do you like most about your job, and what keeps you motivated?
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that one. What do I like most? Definitely the networking. Oh my goodness. I'm very much of a people's person. I'm also very opinionated, but not in a aggressive or passive aggressive manner. I'm also very good at learning and unlearning certain things. So with my career path, what I like is that you're really put in a spot where you're in a spot in a spot where you're forced to deal with social issues at that given point. You're forced to deal with a campaign gone wrong. You're forced to see things in different people's perspectives. You're forced to feel how a certain person may be feeling based on a certain caption that you have approved. Because then again, I also go through the privilege of vetting content, which is going through everything that will actually be pushed out to the public before anyone else can see it. So having that kind of control also makes you so proud in yourself, knowing that the campaign was a success. Seeing my peers in the field that I work in actually congratulating a campaign without actually knowing that you were the one managing it, and also coming up with a creative idea as well. That's one of the things. And then I don't know, what was the second question, Kule? I think there was 2 questions in one.
Yes. Wait. And how do you keep motivated?
How do I keep motivated? I think, you know what? I think it's always, I think, again, it has to be the networking. It's the people that you meet. For instance, this opportunity keeps me motivated as well. It's the fact that you can grow within it, and you're becoming one of the first people to actually experience it. Having to be one of the first people in South Africa that can speak on an idea that is so fresh, and a reality TV show that's going to be controlled remotely. That's motivation enough to know that you are one of the people that can speak on it before everyone else in your industry as well. So yeah, I mean, definitely that's one of the things. Always being first in line to learn about something.
I love that. Guys, the poll is also up, so please participate in the poll, because we're going to really reveal the results at the end of answering questions. And Anasu has a lot of questions. Does it also help to share behind the scenes footage of the content we create? Does it build a connection with our audience?
100%. Always, not always, but choose what behind the scene content you want to take out. So and honestly, your behind the scenes shouldn't be the main content. Behind the scenes is always a build up. Like, oh my gosh, guys, guess what we're cooking? You know what's cooking in the kitchen, what we're doing, or hey, shoot day. No one has to know what you're really shooting, but because you're so consistent with posting and always keeping your followers on their toes, that you can always just put it up, even though it's something you're going to post in whatever you're creating at that moment is something you're going to post in 2 months. Just say, hey guys, look, I'm doing something, get ready, whatever. Because in 2 months, when you say, hey guys, remember when I said, Go check out my latest post on Instagram. Here's the link. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, what was this? Because the whole shoot looked very extravagant, or this looked like a very tricky shoot and whatever. Everyone's going to want to see it. Always keep them in the loop, because then that also makes them feel like they're part of you and part of your life. It's almost like in reality TV when they say next week on, always do it. But don't blazer everyone. Don't make it too much. You have timing. That goes with the content calendar. Have timing. Know when.
I think we'll definitely have to have another conversation, because now I have questions about content calendars. How much is too much posting? When are you spamming your people? So we don't have all this beautiful time to cover all of that, because now we have to say goodbye. But thank you so much, Zizi, for this amazing. You've given me a lot to think about. I'm being very selfish here with my own brand that I am building, because I am building a reality show, even though that's not how I saw it, but that's exactly what it is. With conversations with the love activists that you've interacted. How am I doing? What do you think?
You're getting there.
I'm getting there.
We're gonna get there. We're all getting there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys.
You know me. I have to be strict. I
know.
Have favoritism.
I know. Gosh. I need more strictness in my life. Anyway.
I'm here for you.
Offline
I'll send you my invoice.
Oh my gosh. All right. Here are the results to the poll.
Sure.
This was the question. Does reality TV need social media platforms for promotion? 92% said yes. Hell yes. And only 8% said no. Those 8% are not on social media, clearly.
Yeah, they are for TVCs.
If something starts trending on Twitter, like on Uthando Nesthembu, this is what happened, then you're in fact, you're watching them simultaneously. You're watching the show.
And you get to watch with everyone as
and then
well.
You're watching it on Twitter unfold.
Literally, that's all it is.
So that's the beauty of Love Unlocked, is that you don't have to go on Twitter. You can do the same thing all at once in one platform. So thank you so much, Z. We love you, as you know, so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let me wrap this ship home. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this incredible journey that has never happened before of this webinar. We thought it was really important. Thank you so much for all your amazing feedback, that this was so helpful and so necessary. We love you. We are Brainbow Conscious Creatives. We will be bringing you more Skillshare platforms such as this in the near future. So please follow us on Facebook and Instagram to keep in the loop. Please follow us on love_unlocked_SA on Instagram and Facebook as well, so that you can see when we have call outs for our love seekers as we connect you on 3 Zoom dates using Numuzi Mabena as our beautiful connector to connect you to these amazing dates, so that you can hopefully find love. Our vision is that we hope to have Love Unlocked, the wedding edition, Love Unlocked, the boot camp, couples boot camp. So this is going to be an amazing journey. And for us, it's about how do we love people and who do we need to love? And this is such a great opportunity for us to help people not only find love, but hopefully find self-love as well. So let me not get into some preaching. I love you. Have an amazing day, and we will keep in touch, guys. Goodbye.
Love Unlocked is here. This is the dating show that sets you up on 3 Zoom dates, and at the end, hopefully you will find one match. Let them jolo begin.